Hey Trinity, David Torrey here. We are continuing to travel through the book of Revelation. We are in chapters 8 and 9 and looking at the 7 trumpets that are sounded. Remember from Mark's message on Sundays that these trumpets signal judgment that's happening both now and will happen in the future. In the following clip, Nancy Guthrie outlines what the first 5 trumpets, the meaning behind each one of those is. So go ahead, listen in, some excellent teaching, and I hope it provides a great time for your groups to have conversation around what God is showing us and teaching us as we study Revelation together.
If we take the trumpets as a whole, they each seem to picture the impact of the ongoing but not yet final judgment on the things in which many people in this world find their sustenance and security. That was an important sentence, and so I'm going to repeat it, okay, so that you get it. The trumpets as a whole seem to picture the impact of the ongoing but not yet final judgment on the things in this world in which people tend to find their sustenance and security. The trumpets are sounding an alarm. They're warning of the danger of having only this world and what it provides and promises to depend on for security and satisfaction. Let's begin in Revelation chapter 8, verse 7. The first angel blew his trumpet, and there followed hail and fire mixed with blood. And these were thrown upon the earth. And a third of the earth was burned up, and a third of the trees were burned up, and all of the green grass was burned up. You getting a picture? Burn, burn, burn. The first trumpet reveals a picture of 1/3 of the fields and trees that should be providing food burning up so that there is a hunger that cannot be satisfied. It's picturing for us the way that those who depend on this earth to satisfy and sustain them discover that it is limited in its ability to do so. Look now in Revelation 8, verses 8 and 9. The second angel blew his trumpet, and something like a great mountain, burning with fire, was thrown into the sea. And a third of the sea became blood. A third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. In Revelation, mountains speak of kingdoms. Mountains speak of kingdoms, both good and bad, earthly and heavenly. Here, with the second trumpet, is a picture of the great kingdoms of the world that are coming crashing down, destroying the lives and the livelihoods of those who lived in them. And of course, we know that this has happened repeatedly throughout history. Verse 10 in chapter 8, the third angel blew his trumpet, and a great star fell from heaven, blazing like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters became wormwood, and many people died from the water because it had been made bitter. This imagery of this third trumpet of a star falling from heaven, blazing like a torch, it's drawn from Isaiah 14, where Babylon's guardian angel is pictured as a star cast down from heaven into a pit. And here in Revelation, the star is called Wormwood. And this is drawn from Jeremiah 9 and Jeremiah 23, where God judges his disobedient people by giving them poisoned water to drink. This trumpet is demonstrating that the very things in this world that people consume, expecting them to be life-giving, often end up poisoning them. It trumpets to those who think that their sins add to their lives, that actually sin ruins everything. It poisons everything. In fact, that sin will be their ruin. Verse 12, the fourth angel blew his trumpet, and a third of the sun was struck, and a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that a third of their light might be darkened, and a third of the day might be kept from shining, and likewise a third of the night. At the fourth trumpet, all the lights in the heavens are partially darkened. Think about darkness. This is a picture of the failure of the world's wisdom, the world's spiritual pursuits to truly enlightened. It's a picture of people who are going about their lives in darkness without the ability to see what is true and right and good, as well as who is true and right and good. God intends to demonstrate his power over all of the false gods people build their lives around that simply cannot supply them with the sustenance or the security they crave. So these trumpets, they sound a warning to all who dwell on the earth. Here's the warning. Don't put your trust in the things of this world. They're all vulnerable. They will all eventually fail you. Put your trust in the one who made the earth and the sun and the moon and the stars, because he can be trusted. Of course, earth dwellers are not inclined to come under the kingship of the true king, because whether they know it or not, they have given their allegiance to another king. And sadly, he is not a good king. Rather than protecting his own, he torments his own. See it with me here in chapter 9, beginning in verse 1. And the warning here, the sounding, is for torment. Torment. And the fifth angel blew his trumpet, and I saw a star fallen from heaven to earth, and he was given the key to the shaft of the bottomless pit. He opened the shaft of the bottomless pit, and from the shaft rose smoke, like the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened with the smoke from the shaft. So here we have a star fallen from heaven to earth. I wonder if that reminds you of Jesus' words. Remember when he said, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. So we actually know who this star is. It's Satan, or a demonic archangel. He speaks here of a shaft of a bottomless pit that smokes, and it isn't hard to figure out what that is it? It's the pit of hell. William Hendrickson writes that this smoke is the smoke of deception and delusion, of sin and sorrow, of moral darkness and degradation that is constantly belching up out of hell. Verse 3, then from the smoke came locusts on the earth, and they were given power like the power of scorpions on the earth. They were told not to harm the grass of the earth or any green plant or tree, but only those people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. They were allowed to torment them for 5 months, but not to kill them. And their torment was like the torment of a scorpion when it stings someone. And in those days, people will seek death and will not find it. They will long to die, but death will flee from them. Now, you knew we were eventually going to get to locusts, right? Here we are. We find them here in the fifth trumpet. We're seeing throughout Revelation that John uses imagery from the Old Testament to describe heavenly and earthly realities. So it is Moses and the prophets who help us to understand what John describes in the fifth trumpet. In Joel 1 and 2, the prophet Joel uses the imagery of a locust plague along with military imagery to describe the demonic army set against God and his people on his great day. John seems to draw upon this imagery while he also adds in some gruesome features to the creatures that were presented in Joel's vision. And when we read about these locusts with their poisonous power of scorpions that come from the bottomless pit, we're rightly able to interpret that they are demons from the pit of hell. The one who holds the keys to this place, remember who that is from Revelation chapter 1? Jesus. He has allowed this door to be opened. These demons are not outside of his control. He sets the limits or the parameters regarding what or who these demons can harm. These demons tempt and deceive, making evil appear virtuous and attractive. But in the end, they sting. In the end, those who come under their power experience not freedom or joy, but torment. The torment of guilt, the torment of regret, of slavery to sin, of sickness of soul. These demons, however, can only harm those who do not have the protective seal of God. Because as believers, we've been freed from guilt and we've been freed from slavery to sin. So while these demons can torment those who are outside of Christ only for a limited period of time, that torment will be unbearable. It will make the unsealed wish that they were dead.